What's up, Infected? Welcome to Kwarenteen. I'm standing here with Adam Poots, the designer of the monster that is Kingdom Death. Recently broke numerous Kickstarter records, right? I gotta ask, first and foremost, what opium-fueled nightmare sparked Kingdom Death?
I don't have a good answer for that at all. When I'm working on monsters in particular, I listen to a lot of saccharine pop music. It's not ironic. It's just charges me up.
Hey.
And since the world is about survival, right? I wanted to sort of create a place where it was so dark and so terrible that those little fleeting moments of hope shone so brightly.
Yeah, and I personally feel that does. Those times that you get that critical hit on the white line, kill it in a single blow.
Yeah.
You get those things, but then the shoe fits on the other foot a lot better most of the time. You're gonna have a lot more darker moments on top of that. So,
yeah.
But what else can you say just kind of about Kingdom Death? Like, where did you get the inspiration from anything else, or like how? Because some of the creatures are so off the wall, and just kind of curiosity.
So when I started on this, it all came very much for a place of love, just a conglomeration of inspirations, right? Stuff that I enjoyed growing up.
Yeah.
I wanted to sort of create the world and not use those things that I loved so much. Like, I love undead, I love necromancer, skeletons, the whole thing. It's all awesome to me. So I thought, if I make a world where there was none of that sort of regular supernatural stuff, it might be a little bit different. It might force me to think about things in ways that I haven't thought of before, and also explore monsters that I haven't encountered in my imagination yet. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've ever fought or played against a dung beetle in any sort of game.
No.
So I was like, these things are awesome. They're like the little tryhards of the insect world. Like, I want to make a monster around that, Spidicules is basically a giant daddy longlegs. Yeah. And daddy longlegs terrify me. Like, I find them deeply disturbing. Just this little ball, with all these legs floating around. It's just they freak me out way more than just regular spiders. Like, I'm not actively scared of them, but I'm actively disgusted by them. But I don't think I've ever seen one of those in other games, at least not very often.
Yeah, and, I'm actually with you. I actually like spiders, but a daddy longlegs is the one that does make me
yeah, it's really creepy.
It's the
weirdest.
Like
a ball.
It's just a floating ball on these tiny, scrawny little legs.
So then, the next step of that is to actually go and do research about what these things are like in the real world. And daddy longlegs are very strange. They have very small mouths, and they're very poisonous.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but some. And they're insects that hunt other insects that are smaller than them. And some will get into hunting other spiders. And what they'll do is they'll climb into a spider web and stretch themselves out. So they appear almost invisible to the spider because they're spread across its web.
Yeah.
And then they'll vibrate to alert the spider that it's caught something. And the spider comes along, it gets them. I'm just like, wow.
That is some creepy stuff.
And that's just nature, And then you start to think about it, you're like, okay, well, let's sort of take these things it does in nature and re-explain it in our game world. So it's like, all right, this thing can go invisible. It's got a human lore, It's got that stalk that can grab someone by the brain and kind of control them as they rot. And it's like, all right, now this is really uncomfortable.
now, and every fight kind of feels like that. Yeah, there's the basic lion, but even the lion with its human hands, horrifying. And
the inspiration for that was very direct. There's an old, it was before YouTube's time, but although you can find it on YouTube, a short horror film, all done in claymation and puppets, called The Cat with Hands. And it is creepy as hell. I highly suggest you watch it.
I definitely will check that out. Luckily, it's now on audio, so I'll be able to remember that name.
Yep.
What can you tell us about anything that, if you can, of course, that may be coming out that isn't 100% known? Is there anything, is anything that we should be expecting, or maybe aren't expecting? It could be anything like that.
At this point, with our sort of stack of current promises, my full focus is on that. I think we'll still see some surprises on the resin releases, but as far as game content goes, I don't Like, everything right now that we're working on is totally public.
Now, one thing I do remember, the Lantern Festival. What happened with that?
I was not happy with it.
That's
Basically, we kept pushing its development back because we're like, well, we can't work on a campaign that extends the campaign until we finish working on all the current expansions.
Yeah.
Like, we need to know how they all interact, how they all play together. It has to wait. That was my decision.
Yeah.
And then when we got there, I was like, okay, well, now that we have this kind of like template for these expansions, there's a quarry monster at the center of it, and they have their own narrative arc, right? Both in their introduction and then as you play them, I started to piece together what could or would be the Lantern Festival. And it was very underwhelming. It's like it's a thing that everyone was really excited about. The king is a beautiful, beautiful model. So is the scribe. But there wasn't really any
meat.
Yeah, there wasn't really any meat to it. It was just like boss fight, boss fight, boss fight, the end. And the boss fights aren't as fun as the Nemesis monsters aren't as fun as the quarry monsters, basically. So it was like, okay, well, but we don't have any armor kits for this thing. They weren't planned. We don't really have the budget to go back and add to it because everyone's already paid for this thing.
Yeah.
So there wasn't really much wiggle room to turn it into what I felt like fans would expect and appreciate. So, I was like, I'm just going to do the hard thing and pay everyone back, Goodbye, $300,000.
Yeah. But I feel that because of stuff like that, I feel that that's what's probably made the game so successful is because, you're willing to admit that,
Oh, yeah.
And
I mean, if I make a mistake, I'll own it, and my level of giving a shit is high.
Yeah, which is good. You don't actually see that a whole lot in the industry.
I don't know. I think that I'm very, very, very lucky.
Yeah.
I'm super appreciative of all the fans who like this stuff because they've put me into a position where I can be this way.
Yeah.
Most of the companies don't have that opportunity, and I don't think it's like any fault of anyone in particular.
Oh, yeah, no.
But we don't have any investors. We don't have any board to answer to. We're not particularly interested in going after any market. None of that matters. All that matters is the vision and making things as good as we can. And we're lucky enough to have fans that are like, yeah, we're into this. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, and it probably blows you away.
Excuse my cursing.
It's a more mature show, so it's fine.
Okay, cool.
Is there any word about the dungeon crawl where you're the Twilight Knights instead, rather than where you're thriving into the world?
So I don't know how much you know about kind of like the history of how everything evolved as far as the products and stuff go, but that was supposed to be the original game.
Oh.
That was it.
Yeah.
And the Holy Lands was going to be basically hero level 1 through 3. That was like the area, and it's all built in a style that's very similar to classic dungeon crawls. You have your Holy Landers filling in for goblins, and you have the ranged ones filling in is orcs with bows, and it's just the whole thing was built up that way.
Yeah.
And the Chosen shows up as the big brute, the minotaur or big monster that appears in the dungeon. And then I thought, okay, I'm not ready to make this game yet. What I'll do is I'll try a Kickstarter, and we'll use this as a way to fund the development of larger monsters that these heroes might encounter. Because making a large monster is extremely expensive.
Oh yeah,
it's like
I can imagine.
Our current biggest one is the Dragon Goblin, which is here. I don't know if you got a chance to see it.
I did. There'll be. I took hundreds of pictures here. They will be in the background of all of this.
I could be wrong because it just came in, but I think it's 8 or 9 tools.
Wow.
It's 8 or 9 sprues big, which is just that adds up so fast. I mean, each one of those that we produce, it's just oh god.
I can imagine.
Price is high.
Yeah.
So I thought, we'll make a game based around monsters as a way to help sell and make these. Yeah. And then it took off.
Oh yeah.
Completely unexpected. Now here we are with our reprint campaign that also took off, and it's kind of
broke almost every Kickstarter record on top of it.
I need to kind of reevaluate what I've learned as a designer from this experience, when I go back to working on that game I wanted to make originally. Because now we have an emergent narrative that's shared by a group of people, and you have a story that's explained in action through hunting this thing and surviving.
A collaborative story.
Yeah. And it's so much more compelling than your typical dungeon crawl.
Yeah, where it's a lot of just swinging a sword, rolling a dice.
Right.
You don't bring a story, whereas
I could sit here all day and tell you hundreds of stories from when we played.
And this was just a simple evolution of me thinking, you know, what can we do? What can I take what I love about these dungeon crawl games and sort of make it so it's a bit more streamlined and a little bit more interesting for me and my play group? It's very, very, for me, like, sort of simple stuff.
Yeah.
It didn't get simple once we got to like the technical side of it and making it all work, but the general ideas seemed like only a small step in a different direction.
Yeah. Now, lastly, Gen Con 50.
Yeah.
Insane, right?
Yes. Like, it's weird. Thursday felt like the same crowd you'd see on a Saturday.
Yeah.
The halls was packed.
I think the last number I heard was like 168,000 people, and it's the first year they have ran out of tickets.
Yeah.
Now, if you had to describe it as with a one word, what would you give that word? Put that word as?
Exhausting.
That is very fair.
I think for everybody.
Oh yeah,
the exhibitors, the fans, like everyone's just trying to see as much as they can and get as much time with other people and that will allow them. But it's just there's so much to see. There's so much to do. Like, think about just how massive True Dungeon is, right? Like, most people haven't even been to it, but it's like the community that does it is just titanic. It's almost like two separate conventions going on at once. It literally is. I mean, none of us got a chance to even glimpse of the Lucas Oil Stadium, let alone go into it.
Yeah, I haven't had the time to do that either.
Well, there's a whole other set of things going on over there.
It's insane. But anyways, Mr. Poots, thank you so much for
it was a pleasure
for doing this with me.
This is exactly why I'm here, to hang out with you guys and also to spend time with a team that I don't usually get to see in person.
I appreciate it. And if you guys like this, make sure you subscribe. I will have the Kingdom Death website in the description below. And I'll see you guys next time in the Quarantine.